Alrighty guys, welcome to the video here today for Friday, August 5th, 2022. Happy Friday to you, the weekend's finally here. My name is Brock Page and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal daily sports bet for just $1.99 on my website. It's the game that I actually have my money on, the game that I'm actually betting on personally. And the link for my $1.99 daily best play is in the description section below. Now, you may be wondering what the difference is between what I do here on YouTube and what I do on my website. Well, what I do here on YouTube is I'll handicap the entire slate of games in any given sport, side and total. And what I do on my website is actually share with you which one of these free YouTube picks on my channel that I'm actually betting on personally. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some free content. We're going to take a look at the Marlins squaring off against the Cubs. And that's going to be a 2:20 Eastern first pitch. Now, this game's currently off the board. Edward Cabrera for the Marlins, Justin Steele for Chicago. And even though Steele's got a pretty good ERA, the lefty does come into today's ball game with a 4-7 record and a 1.43 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Cubbies are on a 5-game losing streak. They got shut out twice during that span. They're also going to have to face Edward Cabrera, who's done a real nice job in a short body of work. The Marlins pitcher has a 3.45 ERA in just 15 2/3 innings pitched. He also struck out 15 batters during that span. And that really shouldn't come as much of a surprise here. This Marlins pitching staff has done a real nice job of striking batters out on the road. They're actually in the top 10 in road strikeouts per game. So I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Marlins winning that game outright for some money line cash. Next game, Pirates Orioles 7:05 East. Baltimore's -155, totals 8.5. Dean Kramer for the O's, Mitch Keller for Pittsburgh. Now, Mitch continues to struggle for the Pirates. He's got just 3 wins through 101 innings, along with an ERA in the 4s. Now, the Pirates also do a poor job of hitting the baseball. They're second to last in the league in team batting average, and they're also scoring less than 3.8 runs a game. They also have to face Dean Kramer, who comes into today's ball game with a 3.86 ERA. The O's have also been pretty good at Camden Yards this season. They're 29-20 in their own stadium, and their pitching staff's in the top 10 in fewest runs allowed at home. Now, when it comes to the total, Baltimore's seen a lot of unders in their interleague contests. They're 5-1 to the under in their last 6 against the National League at home. They're also 11-3 to the under in all of their interleague games at any location. Meanwhile, Pittsburgh's 33-19 to the under when they bat first. I'm going to lean toward the Orioles -155 and the under 8.5. Next ball game, little NL East action. I'm talking about the Nats taking on the Phillies. 7:05 Eastern first pitch. Philadelphia is the $2 favorite. Totals 9. Kyle Gibson for Philadelphia. Josiah Gray for Washington. And even though Gray's got a bunch of strikeouts this year, he does tend to find trouble. The righty's got an ERA in the mid-4s right now. The Nats are also 35 games below 500 as a team, and their lineup's in the bottom 3 in home runs. They're taking on Kyle Gibson here today, who's 6-4 in the year with a 1.23 whip. The Phils have also won 8 out of their last 10, and they've done a real nice job in the box. They're in the top 10 in home runs, and they're averaging almost 5 runs a game for the entire year. Now, Kyle Schwarber, he's got a team-best 33 home runs. He's actually leading the National League in that home run category. Meanwhile, Alec Boehm's the club leader in batting average. He's hitting just about 300 at the dish. Now, when it comes to the total in this one, Philadelphia saw their last 4 straight at Citizens Bank Park get over the line. They're also 70% to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Washington's allowed nearly 6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Philadelphia. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the Fightins, -1.5, and the over 9. Next ball game, it is going to be Astros taking on the Guardians, 7:10 Eastern first pitch. Houston's the $2 favorite on the road, totals 8.5. Framber Valdez for the Stros, Hunter Gaddis making his debut here for Cleveland. When it comes to the run line, well, the Guardians failed to cover in 3 out of their last 4 home games, and they've also been little threat this year hitting the long ball. These guys are currently in the bottom 3. Actually, they're nearly dead last in home runs per contest. They're taking on Framber Valdez here today for Houston, who's 9-4 with an ERA in the 2s. Now, Valdez also has 117 strikeouts along with a 1.13 whip. And even if Valdez struggles here today, this is a real dangerous slew of Astros hitters. These guys are in the top 3 in homers, top 5 in OPS. Of course, Yordan Alvarez, he's actually the league leader in that OPS category. The DH has a 1.066 OPS at the plate. He's also 3rd in the bigs in homers with 30 of them. When it comes to the number, 7 out of Houston's last 10 outings actually fell under the posted total. They also saw 3 out of Valdez's last 5 starts fall under the line as well. I'm going to lean toward Houston -1.5, under 8.5. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Braves-Mets. That's going to be a 7:10 Eastern first pitch. Now, the New York Mets are -130, totals 8.5. Taijuan Walker for New York, Ian Anderson for Atlanta. And even though Anderson's run into some trouble here this year, he still has a 9-6 record along with 90 strikeouts. Now, this Braves lineup can also be dangerous to pitch against. They're actually in the top 5 in the majors right now in runs per contest, and they're leading the National League right now in home runs. Austin Riley leads the club with 29 homers and 69 runs batted in. He's currently in the top 10 of the league in both of those categories I just mentioned. Meanwhile, teammate Dansby Swanson, he's the team leader in batting average. He's actually hitting just about 300. Now, Atlanta's taking on a Mets team here today who's struggled to score runs against the Braves in recent meetings. Now, out of these teams' last 10 head-to-head contests with each other, the Mets have actually averaged less than 3.6 runs a game. Now, when it comes to the total, New York's gone 67% to the under in their Taijuan Walker starts this year. Meanwhile, 5 out of Anderson's last 8 starts on the other side for Atlanta fell under the total as well. I'm going to lean toward the Braves +1.5 and the under 8.5. Next contest, it is going to be Rays Tigers, 7:10 p.m. East. Tampa Bay is the $2 favorite, totals 8.5. Corey Kluber for Tampa Bay, Brian Garcia for Detroit. Now, Garcia's thrown just 3 2/3 innings this year, and they really weren't great. The righty already comes into today's start with an ERA very close to 5. Now, the Tigers as a team, they've also dropped 7 out of their last 10, and they've got the worst hitting lineup in baseball. They're dead last in homers and OPS. And no real surprise here, guys. The Tigers are scoring only 3.3 runs per contest, which is dead last in the majors as well. Now, they're taking on Corey Kluber here today, who's 7-6 with a 1.15 whip. The Rays have also won their last 2 straight, and they've done a real good job offensively against Detroit here recently. The Rays are scoring nearly 5.5 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with the Tigers. They're also led by Yandy Diaz, who is currently the club leader in batting average. When it comes to the scoring in this one, Tampa Bay went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings. They also went 7-3 to the under in their last 10 meetings with their opponents here today, Detroit. So if you're into historical trends, you certainly want to think about that one there. And out of those last 10 head-to-head meetings I just mentioned, the Tigers averaged only 2.9 runs a game. I'm going to lean toward Tampa Bay -1.5 and the under 8.5. Next game, White Sox, Rangers, 8:05 East. Chicago's -185, totals 8 runs. Dylan Cease for Chicago, Glenn Otto for Texas. Now, Glenn's just 4-7 on the year with an ERA of 5.50. Now, the Rangers have also dropped 3 out of their last 4, and they're in the bottom 10 in home hits a game at the plate. They're taking on Dylan Cease here today, who's been very good for Chicago this year. The righty's 11-4 with a stingy 2.01 ERA. Now, Cease also has 1 million strikeouts on the year. He's actually got 161 Ks and just 116 plus innings. So well over a strikeout an inning he's averaging. He's also backed by a Chicago lineup who does nothing but get on base. The Sox are in the top 3 in team batting average. And they're led by Tim Anderson, who's hitting .309 at the plate. Now, when it comes to the total, Chicago did see their last 3 straight road games fall under the number. They're also 70% to the under in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, Glenn Otto also saw 4 out of his last 6 starts for Texas fall under the line. I'm going to lean toward the White Sox minus 185 and the under 8 runs. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Red Sox taking on the Royals. And that'll be an 8:10 Eastern first pitch. Boston's minus $1.15, totals 9. Josh Winkowski for the Sox, Zach Greinke for Kansas City. Now, Greinke has just 3 wins on the year, along with a 4.41 ERA. And even if he ends up pitching well, he's probably not going to get the run support he needs to get the W here today. The Royals are in the bottom 5 in homers, and they're also scoring just 3.9 runs a game. Now, they're also taking on a Boston team here today who won 3 out of their last 5. And they actually do a pretty nice job of getting on base. I know that they've struggled over the past couple of months here, but batting average is still high. They're actually in the top 10 in team batting average, and they're led by Rafael Devers, who's hitting a team-best .322 at the plate. Total-wise, Boston has averaged nearly 6 runs a game in their last 10 meetings with Kansas City. Meanwhile, the Royals went 7-5 to the over in their last 14 Zach Greinke starts. I'm going to lean toward Boston minus $1.15 and the over 9. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Reds Brewers 8:10 p.m. East. Milwaukee's the $2.25 favorite. Totals 9. Eric Lauer for Milwaukee. Robert Duggar for Cincinnati. Now, Duggs has only 6 2/3 innings of work under his belt, and they haven't been great. He already has a 1.50 whip, and the Reds have really had problems giving up runs to Milwaukee. Out of their last 10 meetings with the Brewers, Cincinnati allowed over 7 runs a game on average. When it comes to offensive production, the Reds are actually in the bottom 3 in the league in road scoring. Now, they're taking on Eric Lauer here today, who's been a bit of a grinder here this year. This guy's 7-3 with an ERA in the 3s. He also has 107 strikeouts in just 105 plus innings. And even if Lauer stinks today, the Brew Crew can certainly pound the baseball. They're in the top 5 in homers, and they're averaging nearly 5 runs a game. Rowdy Tellez is the club leader in RBI with 68 of them. Meanwhile, Willy Adames has a team-best 21 home runs. Now, scoring-wise, Milwaukee's 13-10 to the under in their divisional home games. 5 out of Lauer's last 8 starts also fell under the line. I'm going to lean toward Milwaukee minus 1.5 and the under 9 runs. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Blue Jays Twins, 8:10 p.m. East. Toronto's minus $1.25, totals 9. Jose Barrios for Toronto, Tyler Mahle for Minnesota. Now, the newly acquired Mahle went just 5-7 in Cincinnati with an ERA in the 4s. The Twins have also dropped 6 out of their last 9 as a team, and they struggled to score runs in those outings. They're taking on Jose Barrios here today on the other side, who's 8-4 on the year, along with 106 strikeouts. Now, Barrios has also gotten plenty of run support from these hitters. The Jays are in the top 3 in runs per game. And they're also leading the Bigs in team batting average. Now, Lourdes Gurriel, he's hitting a team-best .313 at the dish. Meanwhile, teammate Vlad Guerrero Jr., he's leading the club in home runs and RBI. Now, total-wise, 7 out of Toronto's last 10 did fall under the number. Meanwhile, Minnesota went 3-1 to the under in their last 4 at Target Field. I'm going to lean toward Toronto minus $1.25 in the under 9. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Yankees Cardinals, 8:15 East. The New York Yankees are minus 150, totals 8.5. Nestor Cortes for New York, Dakota Hudson for St. Louis. Now, Hudson's walked 44 batters this year compared to just 56 strikeouts. He also has an ERA in the 4s along with a 1.36 whip. Meanwhile, as a whole, this St. Louis pitching staff really doesn't strike a whole lot of batters out. They're currently in the bottom 3 in the majors right now in strikeouts per 9 on the mound. They're also taking on the most devastating crew of hitters in baseball right now. Aaron Judge has a league-best 43 home runs, along with 93 runs batted in. And no real surprise here, guys. The Bombers are currently leading the league in scoring and home runs. Now, pitching-wise, Nestor Cortes is one of the best in the game right now. He's 9-3 with an ERA in the 2s. Now, Cortes also has a 1.02 whip, along with 111 strikeouts. Now, total-wise, 7 out of Cortez's last 9 starts did get over the line. Plenty of run support for the lefty. The Yankees also went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 outings as a team. I'm going to lean toward the Yankees minus 150 and the over 8.5. Next ball game, Rockies D-backs, 9:40 p.m. East. Arizona's minus $1.25, totals 8.5. Madison Bumgarner for the D-backs, German Marquez for Colorado. Now, Marquez is just 6-9 on the season with an ERA in the 5s. And even if he ends up pitching well, this Rockies lineup is in the bottom 3 in runs per game on the road. They're taking on Madison Bumgarner, who's got a 3.83 ERA. When it comes to offensive production in this one, the D-backs have done a real nice job against Colorado in recent meetings. They're actually averaging just about 5 runs a game in their last 10 contests against the Rockies. And of course, Christian Walker, he's been providing a lot of offense for the D-backs. He's the team leader in homers and runs batted in. Walker's actually 10th in the league in that home run category. Meanwhile, Ketel Marte is the club leader in batting average. When it comes to the total, Arizona went 6-2 to the over in their last 8 Mad Bum starts. Meanwhile, the Rockies on the other side, they saw 3 out of their last 5 road games get over the total themselves. So with all that said and done, I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Arizona minus $1.25 and the over 8.5. Next ball game I have for you, it is going to be Angels taking on the Mariners. And that'll be a 10:10 Eastern first pitch. Seattle's the $2 favorite at home, total 7 runs. Robbie Ray for Seattle, Patty Sandoval for Los Angeles. And even though Patty's got a pretty bad record here, it's not for a lack of trying. The lefty's got a 3.61 ERA this year, and he's averaging over a strikeout an inning. He does have the ability to keep you in ball games. Patty's currently got 97 strikeouts in just 89-plus innings. Now, the Angels have also done a fairly good job cashing in on the run line in certain areas. They are 13-9 against the number in their divisional road games. Now, they're also taking on a Seattle club who dropped 4 out of their last 7, and they really aren't all too impressive at the plate. They're in the bottom 10 in runs per game, and they actually have a team batting average of just .234. And even though starting pitcher Robbie Ray has a whole lot of strikeouts, the lefty does come into today's contest with an ERA in the 4s. Now, total-wise, the Mariners are 17-10 to the under in their divisional home games. Meanwhile, the Angels are 7-3 to the under in their last 10 contests themselves. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward the LA Angels plus 1.5, keeping this one close. And the under 7 runs. Of that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Padres-Dodgers, 10:10 Eastern first pitch. The LA Dodgers are minus 155, totals 8 and a hook. Tony Gonsolin for Los Angeles, Sean Manaea for San Diego. Now, Manaea has given up his fair share of earned runs. The lefty currently has a 4.25 ERA on the season. The Padres have also really not been able to hit against the Dodgers this year. Out of these teams' last 10 contests with each other, the Pods are scoring less than 2.8 runs a game. Now, they're also taking on Tony Gonsolin for Los Angeles, who's been nearly perfect this year. He's 12-1 on the season with an ERA of 2.41. Now, the Gons also has a .90 whip. And even if he ends up struggling here today, he's backed by the most dangerous lineup in the National League. They lead the NL in scoring, and the Dodgers are also first in the entire major leagues in OPS. Now, Mookie Betts has a team-best 25 home runs on this season. Meanwhile, Trey Turner is also fifth in the majors with 77 RBI. When it comes to the total, Gonsolin did see overs against the likes of St. Louis, the Chicago Cubs, and Cincinnati here recently. Meanwhile, the Pods went 7-3 to the over in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the LA Dodgers -1.5 and the over 8 and a hook. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my website at patreon.com/BrockPage, where I have packages on that website starting at just $1.99. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward Miami winning their game outright for some money line cash. Give me the Orioles -155 under 8 and a hook. I like Philadelphia -1.5 over 9. Give me Houston -1.5 under 8.5 runs. Give me Atlanta +1.5 under 8 and a hook. I like Tampa Bay -1.5 under 8.5 runs. Give me the White Sox -185 under 8. Give me Boston -115 over 9. I like the Brewers -1.5 under 9 runs. Give me Toronto -1.25 under 9. New York Yankees -150 over 8.5. Arizona Diamondbacks -1.25 over 8.5 runs. LA Angels +1.5 under 7. With my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean toward the Dodgers -1.5 and the over 8.5 runs. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on my website. If you guys do end up getting a membership here today on patreon.com/BrockPage, you're going to get billed the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So if you do get a membership here today, you're going to get access to that membership every single day all the way up until September 1st. I always tell folks in every video here, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And guys, if you want to get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day, you're going to want to sign up for my board member package. It's an all-inclusive membership. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Friday to you. Best of luck to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.